All right, hi there, everyone. My name's Tim.
My name's Michael.
And you're watching TMI.
That's the Tim and Michael Information Show.
Hey, so we've been down for a couple weeks. Sorry about that. We've been getting edumacated.
Edumacated. Meaning, somebody asked Morgan Freeman, how do you be a good voice actor? And he just said, you just got to know how to read good. Speak.
I love
Maybe
Morgan
not
Freeman.
read good, So today, speaking of edumacated,
Yes.
we're talking about classes. Why take classes? It seems such a simple question. Well, to learn. But sometimes when you're, let's say you're already really, really good. Let's just say you are.
Yes.
And you know you're good because you're awesome. But then you think, well, more. Let's say, I've already got a job. Heck, I'm working for MacLeod or Cartoon Network or whomever.
Well, why are they even watching this?
Because they're curious.
Right.
Because he went to your little YouTube and said, why take a class, and we popped up, and now we're watching.
And here you are.
And hopefully we're going to answer your question and not waste your time. But there's lots of different questions for like why take a class to learn. But I think what we'd like to focus on is making sure you're taking classes for the right reasons. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you, and I wanted to wait till we did it on the show.
Sure.
Let's say I'm a cartoonist.
Okay.
I've got a cartoon that I'm working on. Should I take a class with the intent of working out my cartoon in that class?
Yeah, I think you should. I think there are, obviously your cartoon won't fit every single class, but I think there are definitely ways to take a lot of our classes, like perhaps our anatomy class or our storyboarding class. Those are both classes we're in the semester that we just started. And you can obviously apply those to your cartoon and to what you're doing. And usually instructors embrace that too. If you go up to them and say, hey, I've got this thing I'm doing on the side and I'd like to apply this, apply homework to this, they'll usually let you do that. And the added side benefit is not only do you get to consolidate personal projects and homework, you also get to take those personal projects and you've got a testing field of fellow students, fellow artists that can give you feedback on what you're doing, on your work.
So I think it's and especially if they do have anything that they say in class. I know Marshall talks a lot about why not bring your best work here, but he does caution about double dipping. And double dipping meaning I'm working on this one thing, but I'm using both classes to. You do want to be really clear with your instructors on that because sometimes they're willing to work, sometimes they're not. They want you to do very specific things. I know Phil has us have we're doing a sketchbook that's dedicated to that class only. And anything I'm doing in there is just for that class. I'm making sure I'm doing storyboarding things in there, but I'm not applying those to my storyboarding. I'm doing a whole other set of work for my storyboarding class. Now here's my other question that I wanted to ask you. Now, let's go more specifically with that cartooning. So I've got my cartoon, and let's say I've taken my cartooning class.
Okay.
Now what I am wanting to do is against all of the assignments. I've got an assignment where it's working on head shapes. I've got an assignment working on this. And I'm Mr., well, I've already got my thing. Don't you think that goes against what you could actually be getting out of that class?
I think it does. If you look at art homework, there's kind of two types of art homework. There's art homework that is working towards an end. So your teacher says, I want you to create this illustration, so you're going to do work that leads up to that. And if, your cartoon fulfills the needs of that end project, then perfect. You can learn and work on your personal project at the same time. Now, there's also homework that's done as what most people would call busy work, but it's not really in the spirit of busy work. It's more in the spirit of exercise. It's like Marshall said, on the first day of anatomy class, he said, most people draw the anatomy. They don't draw the boxes that we're going to draw to put the anatomy in. So why draw boxes? Well, for us, it's like a piano player playing the scales. You don't play the scales in the final piece, but you play it to get better at that final piece. A lot of times, homework in our classes is put out there so you can grow your technical skills. That's all it is, just getting your technical skills better, so you get better at drawing heads.
Yeah. So I don't think I think we've got two different ways to look at taking class, especially when you're approaching it of I've got something outside to work on. So hopefully we've helped explain this and this. I also want to add to make sure that you're taking a class for the right reasons.
Yes.
And what just breaks my heart too is it happens every semester. It does absolutely. It's in college is what we're talking about. You don't really get this in high school. Well, maybe, but you've got. A room full of let's say there's 30 seats.
Okay.
And there's 50 people in the room at the first day of class, and you're trying to add, and you're on the wait list and everything.
School, yeah.
How many people out of that 30 class seat would you say, on average, are left at the very end of the semester?
Not very many. I've watched it happen in every single class. I think it happened in illustration too, where you start out and the class is crammed full, and somehow, usually about 5-6 weeks in, a few people start showing up, or maybe they miss a week. Then 2 months, and you're like, where did everybody go?
Oh, so, sooner for digital drawing right now.
Really?
We're in week 3.
People are already gone?
Gone.
Oh my gosh.
There was 2 empty seats next to me, and in the beginning of the run, I mean, it was only 3 weeks ago. That's not even 6 classes. Technically 4 classes ago. Packed to the brim, people trying to add. And it just makes me so sad. And same thing with our sketching class, because I guarantee you that there are people that will benefit so much from that class, but they couldn't take it because they couldn't get in. So what I'd like to impart, and it's so hard to even pinpoint this, is make sure you're taking your classes for the right reasons. If you're signing up for a class, and Brian talked about it, how many of you want to be storyboard artists? And after Phil talked to me about storyboarding, I think I really want to be a storyboarding artist, and because I had a whole summer to ponder over it. Now actually being in class, because I've never done it, and now being in class, I'm eating this stuff up. I'm eating this stuff up, man, like Oreos and milk, and I'm an Oreo whore. Let's putting it out there.
You're a Oreo.
Hey!
Yeah,
nice.
that works.
Awesome. I'm gonna need a glass of milk now.
I don't have a pun for that one, so
yeah. So make sure you're taking it for the right reasons, because there's so many people that could benefit, and it's okay for you to say, maybe I shouldn't take this class. I was excited for storyboarding, and I'm glad I'm there. And even on day 1, I said I know I'm going to eat this up. And I don't know if there's any way for you to know that on day 1 to say, well, maybe this isn't for me. Usually your instructor does a really good job of trying to tell you what this class is going to be all about. But it breaks my heart to just see people drop like 3 weeks in. I'm like, come on, there's other people that could have been in this class, and you just squandered this opportunity. So make sure you're taking classes for the right reasons. That's what I have to say.
And there's other merits to taking class too. And let's set the stage here, because I forgot that's your venue.
Oh,
you're Mr. Stageman.
But let's drop that line set 5 in and
Set up the proscenium. Yeah. Hey, there we go. All right, that worked.
set the stage.
Okay. But anyway, so let's set the stage for the situation here. And the whole reason we ask why take an art class, it's pretty deep, because honestly, if you want to go into like the art industry or the art world or the concept design industry or the entertainment industry, you don't need a degree. You don't have to take a class. You could be one of those people Michael talked about who's just really good, has always been really good, has been drawing since they were 4, and you can hack it. And why take a class then? Because if the industry doesn't require a degree, then, what are you going to school for? And there's a lot of different reasons for that. I think one of the big ones is the community. Having that kind of field of artists who will give you feedback and point you in the right direction and give you fresh ideas for your projects is absolutely critical. I discovered in our illustration class last fall, it's been a year ago now, I can't believe it. We would spend half of our class, which was 3 hours, the half was 3 hours, not the whole class. We'd spend 3.5 hours every week putting our work up on the board and critiquing it. And I'd give other people really good ideas, and people would give me really good ideas for my work. And, oh my gosh, 1, it was just really fun. But 2, I think we all pushed each other to create better art.
You will never be more inspired than when you have people that are so much better than you, coming around. I remember meeting Sherry Stein at the Art Institute years ago, right when I was about to graduate high school. I didn't have the money to go, but she told me, amongst other things, she said, well, if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And she said, after looking at my little sketch whatever book. She said, and you're going to be excited because you're going to be in a room where you are not the best drawer anymore. And it's so inspiring to just be among other people that, again, are so much better than you. And
It's terrifying.
I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's okay to have mixed feelings about that, and that's because it's all on what you feel. Whatever you feel is your natural reaction. That's okay. And Mela says you are never too old to stop learning. You are always learning. She just showed us a bunch of things a semester or two ago about in sewing. She's like, guess what I just learned? And there's a whole list, and she's an amazing costumer. I mean, she's a god when it comes to these things, but she's still learning. So you can never stop learning. So take it for the right reasons. You can never stop learning.
Embrace the community.
Oh, and embrace the yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. And this business, kid, it's who you know, and that can't be more true. I mean, if I've never taken an illustration class, I'm going to be doing the show with Tim.
So true.
And had I'm really thinking maybe one day I'm going to get a job because Phil talked about it. Because he said, hey, there's a job, and I'm going to go out for it. And if I hadn't taken class with him, it's who you know. Don't burn your bridges either. So, there's so much else in class. And I remember not liking a lot of classes in high school, but I got to tell you, having the opportunity to really make my choice of which ones I'm taking, I love class. Absolutely love class. So,
It's totally true. It's great being surrounded by other people who are just loving on something that you love. Really brings that community home. I'm just harping on community.
Yeah, I know.
That's my buzzword.
That's all right. Community. Make a drinking game out of it.
No, let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
I have places to go tonight.
Okay, good. Well, not you, them. Make sure you have nowhere else to go tonight. And remember, keep your drink below your workstation.
Yes.
That's one from Jim.
Rule.
Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, everybody.
And we'll see you next week. Stay in school, Carriage. Hi, everyone. Don't forget, if you'd like to send a question to Michael and myself to possibly be answered on the show, you can reach us at tmi.art.productions@gmail.com.
And be sure to support some of our other artist friends out there, like Adnan at the One For You podcast, best video game podcast that I've ever listened to.